Have you ever asked yourself why you keep starting over? Why every time you feel like you're making progress, something pulls you back? It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're weak. It's because you've been waiting for something that was never meant to lead you, motivation. That fleeting spark you hope will suddenly light up and carry you through the hard days, the long nights, the setbacks. But motivation is a liar. It shows up when it wants to, not when you need it most. And the truth is, if you keep depending on it, you'll keep falling short. You've been told that when you feel inspired, that's when you act. When you're ready, when the timing is perfect, when it feels right, that's when you should move. But deep down, you know how many days you've wasted waiting to feel ready. You've seen it happen. You've felt the fire one moment and watched it disappear the next. That's not your fault. That's how motivation works. It's emotional. It's unpredictable. And it will abandon you the second life gets hard. Think about the promises you've made to yourself, the goals you've set late at night, fueled by hope and frustration, the moments when you swore, this time I'll change. And maybe you did for a while, but the moment your mood shifted, your routine broke. Not because you didn't care, not because the goal didn't matter, but because you were counting on emotion to carry you, and emotion always fades. But there's something stronger than emotion, something more reliable than motivation. Discipline. The decision to show up whether you feel like it or not. The quiet force that says, I don't care if it's easy, I care if it's necessary. That's where real change begins. Not in the heat of the moment, but in the cold, ordinary days where consistency lives. When you force yourself to act, even when every part of you wants to stop, you build something deeper than excitement. You build trust in yourself. Because here's the truth. The life you want doesn't come from what you do once in a while. It comes from what you do every single day. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. That's how strength is built. That's how dreams are realized, not in sudden bursts, but in steady steps. If you stay with this message, if you hear it all the way through, you'll begin to see what you've been missing. You'll understand why starting isn't the problem, it's staying. You'll learn how to force consistency, not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. And most of all, you'll start to become the kind of person who doesn't wait for the right moment, because you are the moment. Keep watching. This isn't just another message. This is your turning point. You don't need more motivation. You need to make a choice, a decision that doesn't waver with your mood, a commitment that doesn't bend when it gets uncomfortable. Most people never reach their potential, not because they don't have talent, but because they keep waiting to feel like doing the work. They let emotions drive action, and when emotions fade, so does their effort. But those who rise, those who transform their lives, they've learned to separate feeling from action. They've trained themselves to move forward, no matter what their emotions say. You will not always feel like waking up early. You will not always feel like training, learning, building. Some days you'll feel tired. Some days you'll feel doubt. And some days nothing inside you will want to take another step. But you must. Because your future doesn't care how you feel today. It only reflects what you consistently choose to do. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. And no one can walk that bridge for you. Every time you act when it's hard, when it's inconvenient, when it's painful, you build mental strength. You prove to yourself that you're not controlled by your environment or your emotions. You are controlled by your purpose. And purpose is stronger than any excuse. The life you want is not waiting for you to feel like chasing it. It's waiting for you to stop hesitating and start becoming. That shift, when you stop asking, do I feel like it today? And start saying, this is what I do. That's when everything changes. Look around at your life. What has inconsistency cost you? How many times have you started something only to stop when it got tough? How many opportunities slipped through your hands because you didn't push through discomfort? That pain, that frustration, that feeling of letting yourself down, it doesn't have to be your story anymore. You can become someone different. Not overnight, not with one big leap, but with small, relentless steps forward. Every single day. You are not weak, you are not broken, you are simply untrained. But discipline is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows with use. You build it by showing up on the days you want to quit. You strengthen it when you push past the moment your mind says stop. This is how you turn effort into identity, not someone trying to be consistent, but someone who is consistent. There is power in knowing that your progress no longer depends on chance, that you've taken control, that no matter what storms come, you will show up, you will execute, you will rise, because your future self is watching, and every action you take now is casting a vote for the person you're becoming. The world doesn't need more wishers, it needs more doers. Force yourself to show up, force yourself to be consistent, and you'll discover strength you never knew you had. If you want to change your life, you have to change the way you see yourself. Because no matter how hard you try, you will always act like the person you believe you are. If deep down you still think you're someone who quits, who gets distracted, who never follows through, then that belief will keep pulling you back no matter how much you want to move forward. Your identity is the foundation of your behavior. And if you don't rebuild that foundation, your actions will always crumble when pressure hits. You can't fake consistency. You either become it or you don't. It has to be part of who you are, not just something you try to do. That means every decision, every repetition, every moment you push through resistance isn't just progress, it's proof. Proof that you're becoming someone new, someone who finishes, someone who shows up, someone who is no longer controlled by the past. Because your past does not define you. Your patterns do not own you. You can break free, but you must start acting like the person you want to become before you feel like you deserve it. This is how change happens. You act first. You speak and move and think like the person you want to be, even when it feels fake. Even when your mind screams, "This isn't you," that voice will fight you because it's afraid. Afraid you'll leave behind the version of you it's comfortable with. But comfort is the enemy of transformation. And if you keep trying to change your life without changing your identity, you'll always return to what's familiar. You have to build a new normal, a new standard, one that says, "This is who I am now. I don't miss, I don't quit, I don't wait." Think about what it would feel like to fully believe that about yourself, to look in the mirror and see someone you trust, someone who follows through. That belief is earned, not by doing everything perfectly, but by doing it consistently. You can't think your way into a new identity, you have to live your way into it. That's why each small win matters. That's why showing up today, especially today, matters more than you think. Because you're not just checking a box, you're proving to yourself that you're becoming someone different. Let go of the labels you've carried, the names others gave you, the limits you accepted. You are not your past, you are not your failures. You are not the version of yourself that couldn't stay consistent. That was yesterday. And every action you take today is a vote for who you are becoming. Show up for that person. Fight for that person. Believe in that person even before they feel real. Because once you believe, everything changes. Force yourself to act like the person you want to be. And one day soon you'll wake up and realize you are. If you want to become that version of yourself, the one who is consistent, unshakable, disciplined, you have to start by keeping the promises you make when no one is watching. Not the big ones that make noise, the small ones. The ones that seem insignificant, the ones that are easy to ignore. Because every time you say you'll do something and actually do it, you train your mind to believe you. You stop being someone who hopes and start being someone who executes. Self-respect isn't built through achievements. It's built through follow-through. You don't need to take massive steps to earn progress. You just need to take honest ones. Keep it small, but keep it real. Promise yourself 10 minutes of focused effort and deliver. Say you'll wake up early and don't hit snooze. Say you'll read a page and actually turn the cover. These aren't just habits. They are declarations. Every time you follow through, you silently say, "I am someone who shows up." And that is the quiet power that begins to shift everything. You don't need a perfect routine. You need a real one you can stick to no matter how loud your excuses get. What breaks people isn't failure, it's self-betrayal. It's the weight of letting yourself down over and over until you start believing you'll never change. But that weight can be lifted, not by suddenly becoming perfect, but by making one promise and keeping it, then another, until the voice in your head that used to say you never follow through goes silent. And in its place, a new voice rises, "I keep my word. I show up. I don't stop." This is how momentum begins. Not through motivation, not through hype, but through quiet, consistent action. You don't need to impress anyone. You just need to earn your own respect. Start with something so small it feels almost too easy. But do it. Then repeat it tomorrow. Stack those wins. Stack them until they change the way you see yourself. Until they rewrite the story you've been telling in your head. You are not unreliable. You are not broken. You are someone becoming stronger, one kept promise at a time. It doesn't matter how many times you've quit before. What matters is what you choose right now. Don't underestimate the power of small wins. Don't overlook what happens when you show up again and again and again. That is where the transformation lives. Not in what you do occasionally, but in what you do relentlessly. You don't need more time. You don't need more talent. You need to make one promise to yourself and keep it. That's how consistency is born. That's how belief is built. That's how you become the version of you that no longer dreams of change, because they're already living it. Keep the promise, no matter how small, because that's where everything begins. There's a point in every journey where your mind will beg you to stop. It will whisper convincing reasons to delay, to rest, to do it tomorrow. It will remind you how far you still have to go. It will try to shrink your ambition down to something safe and familiar. This is not weakness. This is your brain trying to protect you from discomfort. But discomfort is the only path to growth. If you give in every time it gets hard, you'll never build the strength to carry your own future. That voice is not the truth. It's a test. And every time you push past it, you pass. You don't rise by avoiding resistance. You rise by facing it, by walking into it, and choosing to keep going anyway. Every person who has built something meaningful, every person who lives with deep self-respect, has walked through the fire of consistency, not because it was easy, but because they knew the pain of staying the same was worse than the effort of change. You already know what staying the same feels like. You've lived it. You've felt that quiet frustration, that restlessness inside, that sense of being stuck. You don't need more time there. You need movement, real, uncomfortable, honest movement. You are not meant to coast through life. You are meant to climb, to stretch, to rise, but you can't rise without friction. You can't become stronger if you keep running from what challenges you, and you can't grow into your highest potential if you keep living by how you feel. Feelings are fleeting, but decisions, that's where power lives. When you decide, I will keep going, even when the motivation is gone, you take control. You stop being a passenger in your own life and start becoming the driver. Every time you act when it's hard, you rewire your brain. You shift the default setting from hesitation to execution. You teach yourself that challenge is not danger, it's progress. And that truth builds a fire inside you that doesn't burn out. It doesn't rely on energy. It doesn't rely on inspiration. It's built on identity. It's who you are now. Someone who doesn't break when it gets tough. Someone who grows. Someone who shows up no matter what. This is your power. To take the hard road. To keep showing up through the doubt, through the fatigue, through the silence. You are not like the rest. You are not here to be average. You are here to rise, to break through every layer of weakness and uncover the strength that's been buried beneath your old patterns. It's there, right now, waiting for you to act, not feel. Step into it. Not because it's easy, but because it's who you're becoming. And every time you push through the resistance, you prove to yourself that you are no longer the person who stops. You are the one who finishes, every time. The only way to win the war within is to show up when it would be easier to hide, to move when everything in you says stay still. Most people lose this war not because they're weak, but because they've never trained their mind to lead. They let their emotions lead. They let their doubts speak louder than their commitment. And day by day, they surrender to comfort without realizing it. But you are not most people. You are here because something inside you refuses to settle. You're here because there's a voice in you that knows there's more strength, more clarity, more power. And you won't find it by waiting. You'll only find it by pushing through. There's no shortcut to becoming who you're meant to be. It's not found in bursts of effort. It's found in your ability to repeat the process, without applause, without recognition, and without immediate reward. That's what separates the few who rise from the many who remain stuck. They don't rely on being seen. They rely on being steady. Because real growth is invisible at first. It happens quietly under pressure beneath the surface of every moment you could have quit, but didn't he? You don't have to feel strong to be strong. You don't have to feel ready to begin. The act of doing is what rewrites the story. Action is what carves a new path through the mind. And the more you act, the more you realize that fear and doubt are only loud when you are silent. But when you take control, when you move regardless of fear, those voices lose power. They begin to shrink, not because they disappear, but because you stop feeding them with hesitation. This is how the shift begins. You stop negotiating with your excuses. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop letting your energy decide your effort, and instead, you commit. You anchor your actions to who you want to become, not how you feel right now, because how you feel is temporary, but who you become is permanent. Every single time you push through the urge to stop, you are writing a new identity into your core. You are proving to your subconscious that you are trustworthy, that you are capable, that you are becoming something unshakable. You already have everything it takes, the discipline, the courage, the resilience. It's in you. It's just buried under years of false starts and broken promises. But now is your time to dig, to uncover it, to reclaim it, not through willpower alone, but through consistent, aligned action. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be relentless. Every step you take builds momentum, and momentum creates belief. Keep moving, keep showing up, not just for results, but for who you are becoming. Because once you stop giving yourself an option to quit, you step into a new life. One where discipline leads, one where consistency wins, one where you finally become unstoppable. You don't rise by chance, you rise by choice. And the most powerful choice you'll ever make is to keep showing up when no one is watching. That's where transformation happens, in the silence, in the repetition, in the moments where your only reward is knowing you didn't give up. This is where identity is reforged, not in intensity, but in integrity. When you do what you said you'd do, not because it's exciting, but because it's who you are now, you unlock a kind of power most people never touch, the power of self-trust, the power of consistency that doesn't waver when motivation fades. Every day you face two paths. One leads to comfort, the other leads to growth. The comfortable path is familiar, easy, forgiving. It asks nothing from you and takes everything. It feeds your doubts and numbs your fire. But the path of growth, though narrow, steep, and quiet, is the only one that leads to the life you know you're meant to live. You can't walk both. You must choose. And if you're serious about change, you must choose the harder one every single time, even when it's lonely, even when it hurts. Especially then, because that's when change is closest. There is a version of you waiting to be born, not found, not discovered, created, built through each moment you refuse to quit, built through each repetition you complete when no one is clapping. That version isn't out there, it's inside you. But it's locked behind choices most people aren't willing to make. Daily, deliberate, uncomfortable choices. The kind that shape your future in silence, the kind that rewrite your wiring, the kind that make you different, not just in effort, but in essence. You won't always feel ready. You won't always feel strong. But feelings are not facts. They're not the signal to stop. They're the signal to go. When fear shows up, it means you're in the right place. When resistance rises, it means you're close to growth. Use that as fuel. Let discomfort become your guide. Let discipline lead when doubt tries to take control. You are not your feelings. You are your actions. And when your actions stay aligned with your purpose, you become unstoppable. This is not about chasing perfection. It's about refusing to break your word. It's about living in a way that makes you proud when the day is done. Pride doesn't come from big wins. It comes from small, repeated victories, the kind no one sees but you feel deep in your core. That's the kind of consistency that changes lives. That's the kind of commitment that rewires everything, and it's available to you right now, not next week, not when you feel more motivated, no. This moment, this decision, this choice to keep going when stopping feels easier. That's what builds the unstoppable version of you. Not someday, but today, every day, until that version becomes your reality. And quitting is no longer even an option. There will be days when the fire dims. Days when your mind is heavy, your body tired, and everything inside you wants to pull back. These are not signs that you're failing. These are signs that you're on the edge of real growth, because the deeper you go into this path, the more resistance you'll feel. It's not there to stop you. It's there to see if you're serious. Most people turn around at this point. They convince themselves they've done enough, that maybe this isn't the right time, that maybe they're just not built for this. But that's not you. You've come too far. You've seen too much of what's possible. Now is when you lean in, not step back. Consistency isn't about feeling powerful every day. It's about acting with purpose despite how you feel. It's about understanding that results don't come from what you do occasionally. They come from what you do relentlessly. You're not always going to feel like showing up, but you do it anyway because you've made a decision, and that decision doesn't expire when it gets hard. You don't wait for convenience. You move with commitment. You don't wait for inspiration. You move with intent. That's what separates growth from regression. That's what builds an identity rooted in strength, not circumstance. You have to stop looking for reasons to quit, because if you keep searching, you'll find them. Your mind is powerful, and it will justify whatever you choose to believe. But if you focus on the mission, if you remind yourself why you started, your excuses lose their grip. Your focus sharpens. You start remembering who you are and what you're fighting for, and suddenly what once felt impossible becomes the new standard. There's something unshakable about someone who keeps showing up. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's real. It's the quiet power of discipline. It's the strength of being consistent even when the world offers you every reason not to be. It's a mindset that says, I don't need perfect conditions. I don't need to feel ready. I just need to move. That mindset rewires your patterns. It builds momentum when others lose it. It creates confidence born not from hype, but from experience, from proof, from doing what most won't do. You don't have to move mountains today. You just have to move yourself. Even an inch. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because those inches taken day after day are what eventually shift everything. They become miles. They become a life. They become the undeniable truth that you are no longer the person who starts and stops. You are the one who finishes. And not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. You've chosen a different standard. You've chosen growth over comfort. And no matter how loud your doubt becomes, your discipline speaks louder. Keep showing up, even when it's quiet, especially then, because that's when real strength is built. Progress doesn't always announce itself. It's quiet. It's subtle. It often feels like nothing is changing, like the effort you're pouring in isn't being reflected back. But that's the lie the mind tells when it craves instant reward. Real growth is slow. It's hidden. It happens beneath the surface, deep in the places where no one sees, where you repeat the same habits, hold the same line, fight the same inner battles day after day, and yet every one of those moments is doing something. It's building something. You may not feel it yet, but it's happening. You're not wasting time by staying consistent. You're preparing for everything that's coming. You're training yourself to be someone who doesn't fold under pressure, someone who keeps promises made in private, someone who doesn't just chase greatness in bursts, but becomes great through repetition. That's what true strength is. Not how fast you move, but how long you're willing to keep going without recognition. Anyone can start strong. Anyone can be enthusiastic for a while. But it's the ones who stay in it when the noise fades, when the energy dips, when the results are slow. Those are the ones who create real change. Not just around them, but within them. The world may not notice your effort right now, but you will. You'll feel the shift every time you choose action over excuses. You'll feel your mind get sharper, your discipline get stronger, your vision get clearer, because with every act of consistency, you're telling your future self, I've got you. You're building a foundation that won't collapse when life gets heavy. You're developing a resilience that no one can give you. You earn it, one decision at a time, one moment at a time, and eventually you stop needing motivation because you become something bigger than that. You become disciplined. And discipline never depends on the weather, the mood, or the odds. When you feel tired, you don't retreat. You refocus. When you feel discouraged, you don't stop. You breathe, you reset, and you move forward anyway. Not because it's easy, but because you're done negotiating with your old self. You're done being ruled by how you feel. You're committed to what you've chosen. That's power. That's how you go from wishing to winning, from waiting to building. Consistency is your edge. It's your proof. It's your quiet answer to every voice that said you couldn't. And no matter how long the road feels, each step you take is a strike against doubt. You are not falling behind. You are building ahead, brick by brick, habit by habit, day by day. This is how it happens. Not all at once, but all the time. Not with noise, but with effort. Not in a rush, but with relentless patience. Keep going. The results will come. But who you're becoming, that's already in motion. The challenge is not in starting, but in staying the course. Every day demands your choice to push forward, even when the spark feels faint or the path seems endless. It is in these moments that consistency becomes more than a habit. It becomes your identity. You stop seeing it as something you do and start living it as who you are. This shift changes everything. Your actions align with your deepest values, and your will strengthens with every small victory. Consistency is the quiet force that turns potential into reality, dreams into habits, and desires into achievements. It is the foundation beneath every success story, written not by luck, but by unyielding dedication. The mind is a battlefield where fear and doubt wage war against your commitment. They whisper that one missed day will ruin everything, that one slip means failure, that you're not cut out for this. But you have to fight back, not with fury, but with calm resolve. Remind yourself that progress is not perfection. It is resilience in the face of setbacks. It is the decision to keep moving, not because the journey is easy, but because your vision is greater than your pain. When the weight of hesitation presses down, you push harder. When distractions scream for your attention, you tune them out. This is how you reclaim control, not by waiting for a perfect moment, but by creating momentum in the imperfect ones. Every consistent action rewires your brain, reinforcing new pathways that make discipline easier tomorrow than it was today. This is not just about what you do, it's about who you become. When consistency anchors your daily routine, resistance loses its grip. Your habits begin to work for you instead of against you. The effort that once felt monumental becomes manageable, and the gap between intention and action disappears. The power lies not in grand gestures, but in repeated small choices, each one a brick in the fortress of your future self. You must stop waiting for motivation to find you. Motivation is fleeting and unreliable. It comes and goes like the tide, but consistency is constant. It is the slow, steady heartbeat beneath the noise of your doubts. When you rely on consistency, you build a momentum that carries you through the rough patches and quiet days. You develop a rhythm that no external circumstance can disrupt. You become unstoppable because your progress is no longer tied to emotion, but to commitment. This is where true freedom lies, the freedom to keep going regardless of how you feel, because your actions are anchored in something deeper. Every time you choose consistency over comfort, you grow stronger. Every time you resist quitting, you prove to yourself that you are worthy of the life you desire. This is the hard truth. Transformation is not about grand revelations or sudden breakthroughs. It is about the sum of daily efforts made when no one is watching. It is the quiet battle you fight inside that defines the life you build outside. Your consistent actions today shape your tomorrow. Keep building, keep rising, keep showing up. Because your future self is counting on the person you are becoming right now. The hardest battles you face are often the ones that happen quietly inside your mind. Every day you wrestle with the temptation to give in, to stop, to rest, to settle for less than what you know you're capable of. But this struggle is not a sign of weakness. It's proof that you're pushing beyond old limits. Each moment you resist, you're expanding your capacity. You're building mental muscle that grows stronger the more you challenge it. This inner resistance is where the true test lies, not in grand gestures or visible victories, but in the small, silent choices to keep moving forward when everything inside you begs to stop. This is where consistency is forged, born from the daily commitment to rise above temporary discomfort and doubt. Consistency demands patience. It demands trust in a process that is invisible and slow. Your mind craves immediate results, instant validation, quick wins. But the reality is far more profound. Change doesn't happen overnight. It unfolds like a seed breaking through soil, hidden, gradual, unstoppable. You have to believe in this unseen progress. You must learn to celebrate the invisible victories. The days you showed up when you didn't want to, the moments you chose discipline over distraction, the times you stuck to your path when it felt lonely and exhausting. These moments are the foundation of transformation. They accumulate layer by layer until you look back and realize you have become someone entirely new. You must guard your consistency fiercely. Treat it like a sacred contract. Act with yourself. Protect it from the lies that tell you it's okay to miss just one day, to start fresh tomorrow, to rest indefinitely. Because every time you break that contract, you chip away at the trust between who you are and who you want to be. That trust is priceless. It is the source of your strength. When you honor it, you no longer depend on motivation or mood. You act out of loyalty to yourself. That loyalty builds momentum. It creates a powerful force that propels you forward, even when the journey feels impossible. The truth is, consistency is not glamorous, or it's not dramatic or flashy. It's the quiet repetition of effort, the unseen accumulation of small actions. It's waking up before the world stirs, sitting down to work when your body begs for rest, making the hard choice over and over again. And while it may feel ordinary, it is extraordinary. It's the force behind every success, the heartbeat of every breakthrough, the reason why some people achieve what others only dream of. This force is available to you every day in every choice you make. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be persistent. You are far stronger than you believe, far more capable than your doubts allow you to see. The only thing standing between you and the life you desire is your willingness to keep going, to be consistent, to show up again and again, no matter what. This is how transformation happens. This is how greatness is built. Not in moments of inspiration, but in moments of dedication. Not in bursts of energy, but in steady, unyielding effort. Keep moving forward. Your future is waiting for the person you become today. Every time you face the urge to quit, to pause, to take the easy road, remember that consistency is a decision, not a feeling. It is a commitment made in the quiet moments before the world demands your attention. This decision shapes your reality far more than any grand plan or sudden burst of motivation ever could. When you choose to be consistent, you are declaring that your vision is worth the effort, that your goals are worth the struggle, and that your future self deserves the loyalty you show today. This kind of commitment breaks down the walls built by fear, doubt, and impatience. It rewires your brain to crave progress over comfort, to find fulfillment in effort rather than in immediate reward. Consistency transforms you from a dreamer into a doer. It is the force that takes your ideas from the realm of possibility into the world of reality. Every small act of showing up adds fuel to the fire within you. It is not the size of the step, but the regularity that counts. A single action might seem insignificant, but repeated daily, it becomes unstoppable momentum. This momentum rewires your mindset, reshapes your habits, and eventually reshapes your identity. You begin to see yourself not as someone who tries and fails, but as someone who perseveres and wins. The power of this identity shift cannot be overstated. It is the foundation for all lasting change. You must learn to embrace the discomfort that comes with consistency. This discomfort is not a sign that you are on the wrong path, but a signal that you are growing. Growth requires stretching beyond what feels easy and familiar. It demands patience with the process and faith in the unseen. When the daily grind feels exhausting or boring, remind yourself that these moments are where champions are made. The resistance you feel is your opportunity to rise. The tension between where you are and where you want to be is the fuel that drives transformation. Lean into it. Use it. Don't run from it. Your greatest enemy is the temptation to seek quick fixes or shortcuts. These only offer temporary relief and often leave you further from your goals. True power lies in consistent effort over time. It lies in the quiet, relentless pursuit of progress, no matter how slow. This pursuit creates a compound effect that no obstacle can stop. Like water carving stone, your persistent actions wear down resistance. Eventually, the obstacles that once seemed insurmountable become stepping stones. The person you are becoming through this process is unshakable, disciplined, and unstoppable. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to have all the answers. You only have to show up. That act of showing up again and again builds a bridge from your current self to the life you imagine. It turns your goals into habits, your habits into character, and your character into destiny. Keep this truth close. Consistency is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about choosing progress over comfort. It's about being loyal to your dreams, even when the path is unclear. Keep moving forward. Your future depends on the choices you make right now. The power of consistency lies in its quiet but unstoppable force. It is the steady drumbeat beneath every achievement, the invisible hand guiding your journey when the path feels uncertain. Each day you commit, even when you don't feel like it, you are reinforcing a new reality, one where your goals are no longer distant dreams but inevitable outcomes. This repeated action rewires your brain, creating neural pathways that make success less about willpower and more about automatic response. You train yourself to act first and doubt later. This shift is profound because it frees you from the chains of hesitation and fear. You begin to trust the process, to rely on your discipline instead of fleeting motivation. Consistency also rewires your emotional response to struggle. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, you start to view them as essential feedback on your journey. This perspective change is critical. When you embrace consistency, you build resilience, not just physical, but emotional and mental. You develop a tolerance for discomfort, a capacity to endure discomfort without losing momentum. The challenges that once seemed like walls become stepping stones, each one strengthening your resolve. This resilience makes you unbreakable because it transforms obstacles into opportunities. Every struggle becomes a training ground where you build the mental toughness necessary to sustain long-term success. Your daily choices, no matter how small, compound over time. This is the secret that consistency reveals. Transformation is the sum of tiny, persistent efforts. It is not the grand gestures or rare moments of inspiration that shape your life, but the countless actions repeated with dedication and purpose. This understanding gives you control. You realize that greatness isn't reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It belongs to those who show up relentlessly. You are the architect of your future, building it brick by brick with every decision to keep going. This power is in your hands right now. There will always be distractions, excuses, and moments of doubt trying to pull you away from your path. They will tell you that one missed day won't matter, that rest means failure, or that your goals are too big to achieve. But consistency is stronger than these lies. It is the commitment to your vision that doesn't waver when the going gets tough. When you choose consistency, you choose yourself over temporary comfort. You choose the long-term payoff over short-term ease. This choice redefines your identity. You stop being someone who wishes for change and become someone who makes change happen. In the quiet moments of doubt and fatigue, remind yourself that consistency is your greatest ally. It transforms uncertainty into certainty, struggle into growth, and dreams into reality. Each time you resist giving up, you rewrite the story you tell yourself about who you are and what you can accomplish. This is the essence of transformation, the power to change not just your circumstances, but your very self. Keep pushing, keep showing up, and keep believing in the unstoppable force you are becoming. Your future is shaped by the consistency you build today. Consistency demands a new kind of courage. The courage to commit when the outcome is uncertain, the courage to keep going when results seem invisible, and the courage to trust yourself above all doubts. It is easy to be brave when success feels